What is up, YouTube? We are back with another getting started video. Today we're talking about hideout organization. So a couple of quick tips to organize your hideout in order to make it easy for you to trade, easy for you to map in the end game, easy for you to do your daily missions, as well as easy for you to vendor items. So let's take a quick look. Really first, so you want to have easy stash tab access. So as you see, the way how I've got my hideout organized right here, I've got my hideout right next to my waypoint, which means whenever I'm trading with anybody, as soon as they enter my hideout, as soon as I invite them to party and they show up to my hideout, all they do is they show up right here at the waypoint and they can instantly go to their stash. A lot of the time people will message you for something, and maybe if it's an odd number of chaos, or maybe if they've got too much stuff in their inventory and they need to dump stuff from their inventory, maybe you're trading them a large quantity of something, and so they don't have room. It's very, very helpful and convenient to your customers to have your stash tab access right near the waypoint. This also applies for your guild stash, so sometimes people have things stored in their guild stash tab. So I place both my guild and my regular personal stash tab right next to the waypoint. That's the first tip. Second tip is you want to have easy vendor access. So for me, this is Navali, because she can trade divination cards as well as sell all of the items that you're going to have in your stash tab and in your dump tab that you're going to want to potentially sell as a vendor recipe, whether that's the chaos vendor recipe, whether that's exalted shards recipes for Shaper and Elder items. Whatever it is that you need to sell to a vendor as a trade-in, you can do that with Navali. And then, of course, if you're trading in divination cards, she's also got that added benefit. So for me, again, I put it very close to the waypoint, so that way if somebody else comes to use my hideout, they can use Navali. They've got access to her. Some folks sometimes are coming and trading whole stacks of divination cards because for whatever reason sometimes people do that rather than just turn them in and turn them into the item or the prophecy or whatever it is that they would turn into, or the currency. But occasionally people are going to want to use a vendor right away as soon as they come into your hideout. So for me, it's Navali, because that way then as soon as I get the divination cards, I can simply click on Navali, boom, trade it, go back to my stash tab, and I'm all right there, and it saves several clicks. The third tip is you want to have easy map access, easy map device access. So for me, I used to actually have my map device down here on the bottom right hand side of the screen, and what I actually started to notice this league, this is the first league that I've swapped moving my map device up. Oftentimes for my permanent standard hideout that I've done all of my cosmetics in, I'll actually put it up here at the top level, and then I'll actually move my stash tab up here just because there's less trading that goes on when I play in standard. But what I actually noticed for the first time this league was that when you send a trade request to somebody, that of course shows up in the bottom right hand side of the screen, so where the webcam is displayed right above your mana pool over here on the right hand side of the screen, which means if somebody misclicks, what would happen is I would send somebody a trade request as soon as they joined my hideout, and then if somebody would misclick, then they would accidentally start walking way over here rather than actually clicking accept on the trade screen, which occasionally I had a couple of people accidentally enter my map device. They weren't trolling, they weren't scamming, they weren't trying to go in and steal my map stuff. It was just simple accidents. So as Bob Ross would say, happy accidents. So what I did was I moved my map device to the top left where nobody's going to be getting a request. So sometimes if you're trading with somebody and you see them randomly start walking to the side of somebody's hideout, it can actually be a misclick. So I put my map device, relatively easy access. It's relatively close to my map stash, or to my stash tab. It's relatively close to my vendor, and it's even close to Zana. So if I'm purchasing maps from Zana, or if I've just come from my waypoint, you know, let's say I've went out and bought a bunch of maps, dumped them in my stash, and then from my stash I wanted to go to my map device, it's all relatively quick to get to. And again, I keep it above in the top left rather than in the bottom right to avoid folks accidentally entering the map. The last tip, the fourth tip, is that you want to have easy master access. So a lot of you that run rotations, so as you're leveling up your masters and doing daily missions, as you see, everybody's got daily missions. You may be leveling those up in party in order to share party experience for your masters with other players in rotas. If you're doing that, you want to be able to have each of your masters in a nice spot to where everybody can access them. So I was in a rota the other day, and somebody was using this exact same hideout layout, and they actually had all of their masters over here, all the way over here. So everybody that joined the rota was like, hey man, where are your masters? And of course, everybody was smart. Everybody just followed the guy's hideout, you know, because it's his hideout. He knows where everything is. But kind of obnoxious to put everything so far away. I can get if it's in standard and you're doing a lot of crafting or a lot of meta crafting, and you just want to be bouncing back and forth between your own hideout stuff and you're not interacting with a whole bunch of other players. But in a league where you're doing a lot of rotas, putting everything near, again, the waypoint, at least on the first screen, where everybody can see it in the mini map and see exactly where all of your masters are, that's really, really helpful to other players that are being included in your rotas. So those are 4 quick, easy tips for organizing your hideout. Have easy stash tab access, have easy vendor access, have easy map device access, and then of course have easy master access. If you've got questions or comments or organization tips, feel free to leave us a comment down below. And as always, thanks so much to our Patreon supporters, and thanks so much for subscribing to the videos, and stay tuned for more PoE daily content.